Hello, and welcome to the Designing with Love podcast. I am your host, Jackie Pellegrin, where my goal is to bring you information, tips, and tricks as an instructional designer. Hello, instructional designers and educators. Welcome to episode 95 of the Designing with Love podcast. In this episode, I'll help you move beyond one size fits all by learning how adaptive engines tailor sequence, pacing, and practice, plus simple ways to pilot with the content you already have. So, grab your notebook, a cup of coffee, and settle in as we explore this topic together. Think of adaptive learning like building a learning journey with smart checkpoints, so learners get the right support at the right time. Let's start by clearing up a common misconception. Adaptive learning isn't just personalized learning with a fancy label. Adaptive learning is when the learning experience changes in response to what the learner does, their performance, choices, confidence, and pace, or what they seem to need next. Now, here's what adaptive learning is not. It's not a magic AI tutor that automatically fixes weak content. It's not creating 50 different versions of the same course. And it's definitely not only for organizations with huge budgets or fancy platforms. Adaptive learning isn't about building endless versions of instruction. It's about designing smart checkpoints. So, when we say adaptive, what exactly is adapting? Typically, it comes down to 3 levers. There are 3 main levers adaptive learning can adjust: sequence, pacing, and practice. Sequence is what comes next. This is where the system changes the pathway based on what the learner demonstrates. For example, if a learner struggles with concept A, the experience routes them to a quick microlesson or refresher before moving to concept B. Pacing is how fast you move. Some learners need more time, more scaffolding, or more repetition. Others are ready to accelerate. Adaptive pacing can support mastery-based progression, and it can also offer optional fast track or challenge extensions for learners who are already strong in the topic. Practice is what you do and what comes back around. This is where adaptation gets really practical. If a learner misses a certain question type, the system can bring that skill back later in a different format with better feedback and another chance to strengthen it. Practice isn't just repetition, it's targeted reinforcement. So think of it like this. Sequence is the route, pacing is the speed, and practice is the training plan. Now, the next question is, what powers those decisions? What signals does an adaptive engine use? And what do we need to design on our end to make it work? Adaptive learning isn't just powered by vibes, it's powered by signals. Some common signals include quiz accuracy, number of attempts, time on task, confidence ratings, checkpoint performance, and even learner choices in a branching scenario. But here's the key. The algorithm is only as helpful as the learning map we give it. If the objectives are fuzzy, the assessments don't align, and the feedback doesn't teach, then even the most advanced systems can't really adapt in a way that helps learners. So, to set adaptive learning up for success, you want the following to be in place. Number 1, clear objectives aligned to what learners will actually do. Number 2, chunked modular content that's easy to route learners through. Number 3, feedback that explains why, not just right or wrong. Number 4, a way to label content by skill, difficulty, or common misconceptions. Before we move on, there are 2 guardrails that make adaptive learning work well: transparency and accessibility. Learners should understand why they're being routed and the supports needed to be accessible, so we're not mistaking barriers for ability. If you want a practical refresher on inclusive design, check out episode 65, Accessibility in Action, Inclusive Design for Every Learner. It's packed with strategies, from structure and media choices to small tweaks that make a big difference. I'll link it in the show notes for you. And for a strong foundation on designing for learner variability, you can revisit episode 27, Designing for Everyone, a guide to universal design for learning. UDL gives you flexible options, and adaptive learning helps personalize the route through those options. I'll link that in the show notes for you too. Now for the good news. Your first adaptive pilot doesn't have to be expensive or fancy. So let's make it practical. You can prototype adaptive learning using tools you likely already have. And you can start with simple rules before you ever touch anything that feels AI-powered. Here are a few low-lift approaches you can try in your courses. Rule-based pathways. If a learner scores under 80%, unlock a refresher and a retry. If they score 80% or higher, unlock a challenge practice or scenario application. Branching scenarios. Learners make choices, and the pathway responds with targeted support or escalating complexity. Micro-adaptation inside one lesson. A checkpoint question routes learners to a hint, a worked example, a micro-lesson, or a challenge prompt. Adaptive practice sets. Use question pools aligned to objectives. If learners struggle in one area, rotate that skill back in later for retrieval and transfer. Your first adaptive pilot can be 80% strong instructional design and 20% tool setup. So if you're thinking, okay, Jackie, I'm in. How do I pilot this with content I already have? Here's a simple 4-step plan to run a mini adaptive pilot without rebuilding your whole course. Step 1. Pick one high-pain module. Choose a module with high failure rates, confusion, repeated mistakes, lots of support requests, or drop-off. Step 2. Pick one success metric. Keep it simple. Pass rates, time to mastery, fewer retries, fewer help requests, or even learner confidence. Step 3. Add 2 checkpoints. For example, a pre-check that routes learners to a refresh path or a fast path, and a mastery check that routes learners to a targeted practice or challenge extension. Step 4. Build a support ladder. Hint, then worked example, then micro lesson, then retry, then finally optional human support. Pick one module, pick one metric, add 2 checkpoints, build a support ladder. Picture a customer support team onboarding new hires. Traditionally, everyone goes through the same training, same videos, same quizzes, same timeline. But predictably, the experience doesn't land the same for everyone. Some new hires already have customer support experience and feel bored. Others struggle, especially with terminology, product navigation, and troubleshooting flow. And managers see inconsistent performance during the first month. So the team runs a mini adaptive pilot using existing content in one module, handling Tier 1 tickets. They add a simple 5-question pre-check. If learners score 80% or higher, they skip ahead to scenario practice. If learners score below 80%, they unlock 2 short micro-lessons and a guided worked example. Practice adapts too. Missed question types show up later in a different format with feedback that teaches the concept, not just the score. And pacing support is built in. A fast-track set of challenge scenarios for advanced hires and quick supports for others, like a glossary, short screencasts, and worked examples. And what's the best part? They didn't rebuild the whole program. They created a smarter pathway through what they already had. And that's the mindset I want you to take from this episode. You don't have to overhaul everything. Whether you're teaching, building an LMS, or supporting a program behind the scenes, you can start small. Choose one high pain spot and make the route more responsive. Here's my challenge for you this week. Take an adaptive mini pilot route in one lesson, one module, or one training segment you're responsible for. whether you teach it live, design it for an LMS, or support it behind the scenes. Then add one pre-check and create 2 paths, a refresh path and a fast path. That's it. And if you'd like a simple planning template to make this quick, I'll link a Canva resource template in the show notes called the Adaptive Mini Pilot Map. As we wrap up, here's what I hope sticks with you. Adaptive learning isn't about making learning complicated. It's about making learning responsive. When we design for sequence, pacing, and practice, and we pilot small, we move from same for everyone to right support at the right time. Also, here's an inspiring quote by John Dewey, an American educator. If we teach today's students as we taught yesterday's, we rob them of tomorrow. This is a great reminder because adaptive learning is one of the clearest ways we can honor the reality that learners come with different backgrounds, different needs, and different starting points, and they still deserve a path to success. Thanks for spending this time with me today. If this episode sparked an idea for a small pilot, I'd love to hear what you're trying. Until next time, keep designing with love. Thank you for taking some time to listen to this podcast episode today. Your support means the world to me. If you'd like to help keep the podcast going, you can share it with a friend or colleague, leave a heartfelt review, or offer a monetary contribution. Every act of support, big or small, makes a difference, and I'm truly thankful for you.